they did a study, on abstinence programs. Now, we've talked a lot about that in the past, and the big one was where they found out that they don't work at all, where they said they don't prevent any more sex.
No, it's worse. They make it worse. The people in the abstinence-only programs are more likely to have sex. More likely to have sex.
And then they wind up becoming more likely to get STDs, too, because they talk down the condoms.
Yeah, they're not prepared, and a factor that nobody talks about except me because I'm a genius, shame. They have extra shame associated with sex, so that when they do have sex, and I got news for you, Mom, Dad, they're gonna have sex. They're as embarrassed as most 15 and 16-year-olds are to go buy condoms. Those in the abstinence-only program, extra ashamed to buy condoms.
Now, here's a second twist on this abstinence-only.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they did a study on how are the kids who do wind up having sex doing mentally? Because one of the things that the abstinence guys say is, if these kids have sex, they're going to get screwed up, they're going to get depressed, their life is going to be ruined,
right,
and they're not going to know what to do with themselves.
Crumple it up, throw it away. Who had to do this frickin' study?
No,
I'm glad they did it. I understand, but I know.
No, but that's an argument that a lot of people make, and they say, "Oh no, my kids, they're not ready. They're not ready.
No,
if they have sex,
I know.
Their heads are going to explode."
Obviously, I'm being facetious, but I mean, anybody who thinks that doesn't understand people. How do you feel after you have sex?
Fantastic.
Yeah, after sex is awesome. You know what you don't do after sex? You don't hurt anybody.
Well, that's true. And I thought, wait a minute, the opposite is true. I remember when I was 18 and I hadn't gotten laid till I was 18 and then beyond, I was totally depressed. Okay, on why would a guy who's not getting laid be happier? That doesn't make any sense. You'd be more likely to be depressed. But so they did the study and they found out, but there is a cutoff, and I get logically why there is a cutoff. For girls, if you have sex over the age of 15, it doesn't affect you at all as far as depression or in any way negative health consequences. For guys, it's over the age of 14. But if you're under the age of 14 for guys and under the age of 15 for girls, then you do have psychological ramifications. And so that does make sense to me. And that's...
It's actually younger than I thought it would be.
See? And so obviously there's value in the study for that, too, to see... And it gives you a sense of, and it's kind of where nature drew the line in a lot of ways as well. Not exactly, but to some degree. And so I think there's tremendous value in saying to parents, look, I'm not saying your kids need to have sex at 16 or 17 or 15 or whatever it is. Of course not. But you also don't need to go ballistic. You don't need to lose your head. You don't need to flip out. You just tell them to be responsible. And of course, that's a great irony. If you teach them about sex and teach them that they're worth something, and that they don't need to have sex to prove anything.
They're less likely to have sex.
They're far less likely to have sex. And then when they do have sex, it's more likely to be healthy, happy, and safe.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to go ahead and I think that by 17, I would recommend it.
You're going to recommend it?
I'm going to recommend it.
Well, that's interesting.
I mean, 17 by senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Before you're out the door of high school at some point, whether that's 17 or 18, or if you're really smart, it could be 15.
No, I think, we talked about this on the show in the past. I think when you're 16, you're ready. That doesn't mean I'm recommending it or encouraging it or anything like that. But if I had a son or a daughter, and at 16, and a daughter too, look, I'm telling you. And then people say, oh, what if you had a son and he was gay and he wanted to have sex with like a 38-year-old guy? I'm telling you, I think at 16, as a human being, you're ready to have sex. And then it's up to you whether you want to or you don't want to, who you want to with, how many times you want to, etc. And I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to try to teach you to value yourself and to know how to handle it. And then after that, I think it's totally fine. It's kosher.
Yeah, I'm going to discourage it up until they're 17. I mean, discourage.
And you're going to flip over from discouraging it to completely recommending.
No, but my discouraging it is going to be like, hey, man, my advice is just you got so many things going on in your life. Don't complicate it with it. But, date, whatever, and be prepared if it happens, all right. And then you're going to find that you hit that senior year, it's going to be time.
Yeah. And
I'm going to take my daughter at 17, I will take my daughter to a brothel.
But at 17, if my son isn't getting laid, I'm a little depressed.
Right.
Because I want him to be having a good time. And I know how it was at 17.
Right.
And you were dying to have sex.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. So, you know what? If it's a son, I'm going to be a little,
And just for the record, at 17, I was having sex.
Mm-hmm. And look at how you turned out. Never mind.
And you were not.
Oh, yeah.
But within 8 years,
I was right back on the game.
You were making it happen. 8 short years after that.
Man, because I am good. All right. What did I say earlier in the show? If I'm having sex with you, you know it. Because you're probably regretting it.
Exactly.